When are we going to see justice really mean justice? Because we have it in this case. We have a scummy lawyer who took an oath, who will do the best to his ability to defend his clients, but he shouldn't lie. You don't lie to the best of your ability, Mike, to make sure your client gets set free. You pushed a narrative 2 days after Gypsy was arrested. 2 days. You knew Gypsy. You knew of her. You can't tell me you didn't, because Gypsy was pretty much knew the mayor. She has photos with him, right? She was the little local celebrity for being the sickly girl, you know? Again, I'm going to say it. Do I think that Dee Dee believed Gypsy? I do. I think Dee Dee started seeing as Gypsy got older. I think Dee Dee saw, you know, Dee Dee caught on. That's just my belief. And I think that is where a break started to form, a fracture in their relationship. Dee Dee wasn't as quick to maybe baby Gypsy as much, and Gypsy wasn't ready to listen to no's or moral high ground thoughts and opinions and advice given to her. I'll say it that way. Gypsy, Dee Dee messed up. She spoiled her. Never told her no. I do believe Gypsy faked and exaggerated a lot of her sickness and ill, you know, her. Look, what kid isn't going to fake being sick? Or, you know, if they aren't feeling good, fake it a little more, because they do get that attention and they get that love, and they get, you know, babied and pampered, and they get toys and ice cream, blah, 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 right? Gypsy caught on really fast. We seen her from a very young age pretending to faint to get attention. And of course they would laugh at her and, you know, just gush at her, but she continued to do that. Because when she was born, she did have sleep apnea. Again, I'm going to ask, how does an infant fake sleep apnea? How did your mother fake your sleep apnea then? How did she convince a doctor without it? From your point of view, she just told the doctor you had it and they put you on the machine. It doesn't work that way. But okay. Tell us how then, Gypsy, because I would love to know. You were treated and tested for multiple different disorders because they didn't know the genetic disease you had. What mother would not push to get answers to that so their child has the healthiest life that they could possibly have? Would you not do that for Aurora? Okay. Because if you wouldn't, then I question your mothering, which I do anyways. You do not deserve to be a mother. I'm sorry, but you do not. I'm sorry, you guys. If a person can take their mother's life, set up here and lie about it, twist it and turn it to, well, I don't really feel like I'm a murderer. I feel like a survivor, which is what she did. Now let's talk about this letter. That this is the whole reason that this case was pushed as Munchausen by proxy. He didn't have this 2 days after Gypsy was arrested, because HBO gave him the medical records, the thumb drive for her medical records, right? Gypsy had already taken her plea deal when this came out. She got her plea deal, but I'm just saying, A theory was pushed, right? Yes, it was. They know DCFS had came in and been questioning Dee Dee and Gypsy. I'm sure that he knew that. I'm sure he had found out that much. But who did he talk to? Her family. Dee Dee's family. Specifically, Bobby Petrie, who instantly went to every social media outlet, major news outlet, and wanted to do interview after interview after interview after interview. And why was that? Because Dee Dee had moved away from her family because her dad had been sleeping with Laura while he was still married to her mother. Dee Dee was not happy about it. Dee Dee and Laura did not get along, and Laura spoke for her dad most of the interview on this documentary and said horrible things, even to the cops when they called. Oh, Dee Dee's just doing it for attention. Said she had warrants and she was hiding from cops. She had warrants in several states, and she didn't want nobody seeing Gypsy or being around him because she was running from the law. All lies. Yes, Dee Dee got in trouble for writing a bad check. I'm sorry, but when I was young and little, not my family, not my mom, but I know lots of people who wrote bad. I wrote a bad check. Not bad. It wasn't bad. It just got an overdraft. But I'm just saying, she was a single mom. Was she desperate at times? Yeah, they were homeless. They got displaced by the hurricane. Dee Dee was at a point where she wasn't even getting child support from Rod. Rod knew where they lived every step of the way. We have proved that in the text messages and the Facebook post. Christy, I have to watch because I get so... Christy was the one, when this first started, I was like, I feel bad for her because I think she's doing this because she loves her husband and wants to show she's supportive. No. Christy is a Gypsy 2.0. And Rod seems like he's the only one that kinda has some sort of conscience, or him and Mia. I don't know nothing about Dylan, but it seems now, even though he's a serial cheater, he at least he admits it. But it seems like he's the only one who has a little bit of common sense and a head on his shoulders and still lets Dee Dee go down like this. It's mind-blowing to me that money can make people be this evil. But let's get into this letter, okay? This is the whole thing that the public saw because when they spoke to Bobby, then they printed the story. Dee Dee was forcing Gypsy to sit in a wheelchair. No, I think Dee Dee found out Gypsy could walk and said, we're going to get in trouble. You can't get out of the wheelchair now. We would go to jail. So Gypsy sat her butt in the chair. That's what I think happened. Not because Dee Dee forced her. I think, you know what? Maybe we need to fix this. And I don't think Gypsy really wanted to fix it, honestly.
Mother is not a good historian, which is interesting because he puts that in bold and underlines it.
So this letter, you know, and the doctor saying Dee Dee wasn't a good historian. Well, Dee Dee was in a car accident. She almost had lost her foot. She had a metal rod that went through her entire ankle. I've showed photos of that. My grandson just brought me a rose from school. And they're wood. Isn't that cute? It's made of wood. Aww. He said, you look pretty today, Nana. I'm like, oh, thanks. So she said she had memory issues, and even so, Gypsy was at a doctor non-stop. I'm sure she got things messed up or mixed up. I would. Wouldn't you? I would. I would get mixed up with a lot. I don't know if I could keep up with it all. And her writing everything down was such a big issue. Well, my God, you'd have to. And let's not forget that this doctor said, again, I'm going to keep pushing this. This is the only time he ever suspected it. In 2009, 3 years before Gypsy was diagnosed, 1 year earlier, scientists had just found that the 1Q21.1 even existed, but he suspected Munchausen, which is Gypsy, Munchausen by proxy, which would be Dee Dee or malingering, unless there is an unknown etiology, genetic disease, and she had that. That's always left out, always. What I want to know is why the DA, the judge, everybody, because Bree and them love to say, oh, they seen everything. They looked through her entire case, her medical history. No, they didn't. No. They went through what he put. He put his whole discovery together for her. He puts all of his, what he feels is evidence, and he supplies it to the judge, from my understanding. And I'm probably not correct. You can let me know in the comment. I'm just saying the judge, the lawyers, the DA, the prosecutors, they did not look at every single bit of, they didn't even process evidence. They start processing evidence the day they arrested Nick and Gypsy. As soon as they got Nick's confession and Gypsy talking about it, they stopped processing evidence. And to this day, Greene County is lying. They will not send the entire FOIA, which is our right as citizens to have. Half of it is redacted. Or they just won't send everything. Some people get more than others. Some people get less than others. Some people have to wait years. Some people had to wait a month. Depending on how much you had to, and they're charging thousands for these FOIAs. Thousands. Because it was a high public profile case. This story was pushed to the public, and it went from Nick forced her to do it. The mother was forcing her, saying she was sick when she wasn't. And that's, nobody's ever questioned it. And now we question it, and it's just hating, because we have evidence to disprove every bit of it. Every bit of it. But here's my thing. This is who she surrounded herself with as a young adult, a kid. Scam, lies, anything to make her look like a celebrity, or, she literally sent Nick a video saying she can't have news out there because, one day she's going to be famous. When does your fame and your dreams of your being this expert, whether it be a celebrity or a child ABUSER doctor who's on this staff that wants to be the main leading expert, that honestly MVP is so rare that you're willing to lie on families and destroy lives, cause trauma for the rest of their life to suffer. When is it enough? But no, the yes men continue to follow for Gypsy. And Gypsy, I'm going to ask you again, why? I would love to speak with you. respectfully, not even in a disrespectful way. It would be very respectful. Why is it that you won't sit down and have an open discussion where we can ask you whatever about the case, the evidence, and ask you why this is changed, or the differences and blah blah blah? Why can't you ever do that? The only interviews you do are for you, that you've already got pre-planned, you already know the answers to, they're already written out for you, and it's the questions you approve, that you say is okay, and that's it. Why is it everybody, poor Gypsy, is the only people that you'll do any sort of interview, podcast, show, anything? These are the people she surrounds herself with. These. I'm just going to use Sullen Beauty's video. I already read this entire piece because NBC did a piece on Dr. Woods. And I read it. I didn't play the video. I wanted to read everything. So let's skip through some and show you. These are the people that support her.
Megan Carter of Kent is one of several parents relieved to hear one of the state's go-to experts on child abuse, Dr. Elizabeth Woods, is out of the picture. Her 7-year-old daughter Ellie told us last year how the doctor's accusations affected her young life.
They wouldn't let my mom visit me! They wouldn't let my mom visit me, even though she was my mom. But they're mean people.
In a joint King 5 and NBC News investigation last year, we revealed Dr. Woods accused Ellie's mother of abusing the child by giving her unnecessary medical treatment.
This woman that Sullen Beauty is showing, Megan Carter, that's Andrea Dunlop's sister. Megan's mother reported her because they had a very toxic relationship. The husband, seeing that it was toxic, she set boundaries with her mother and sister. And you know the people that control everything. The parents don't let go, and they control every aspect, even when you're married. I know, because I know. I'll just say that. But whatever the reason was that she had a fallout with her family, they decided to report Megan for medical abuse. They felt she was taking the kids to the doctor too much, even though the little girl was born at 24 weeks premature and had issue after issue. So she takes her to the hospital. The mother makes an accusation. Boom. Guess who comes and looks at it? The case, anyways. This woman.
Grave danger, even though we found the doctor didn't have evidence to back up the claims.
There's nothing that can make us whole again.
Dr. Wood's opinion carried weight, and the state took Megan's 2 children away from her for more than a year.
Yeah, I remember the mean lady. She made sure that me and my mom weren't together.
Ellie cheered when her mom first told her the news. Dr. Woods is no longer employed at Tacoma's Mary Bridge Children's Hospital. And last month, the state removed her from a roster of select doctors CPS depends on in suspected cases of child abuse.
Remember when I told you last week that she's gone now?
The changes follow our findings that Dr. Woods lacks key medical training in detecting subtle but important signs of child abuse.
Yeah. In their written segment, she didn't have any credentials to be on this roster for singling out parents for ABUSE. Where did she get her license then? Where did she get her know-how? And why is she an expert when she didn't even do the training or get the credentials necessary? How did she get to that point? That's all I want to know. There are 4 other cases just like this. I read them out on the video to you guys. The police and the judge were even, and CPS even. No, CPS didn't. The judge and the cops were, and other doctors went against her. They did not agree with her findings. These 4 cases that they speak about right here, they didn't agree that it absolutely was not medical abuse. She pushed it anyways. They had proof that it wasn't, had other doctors and scientific knowledge, and still she pushed it through. For me, that is a power trip. That's control. That's why is it that if they're putting evidence in your face, just admit, okay, I might be wrong. Let me not tear a family apart.
In Megan's case in 2019, a King County judge ripped apart her testimony, saying her accusations were without supporting factual basis. And in 3 other cases, different doctors who weighed in disagreed with Wood's assessment that the children had been intentionally hurt. This Silverdale pediatrician was among them.
I would stake my medical license on the fact this was not abuse.
Dr. Woods has never responded to interview requests, and Mary Bridge previously defended the doctor's expertise. Same day King 5 and NBC News published the story, the hospital took action. A top executive told employees Mary Bridge was bringing in outside experts to review its child abuse program under Woods' leadership. A Mary Bridge spokeswoman recently confirmed Dr. Woods left the hospital to pursue other opportunities. Well, Megan Carter's case was eventually dismissed in family court. Woods has weighed in on at least 40 criminal cases in the region, including at least 17 active cases where the stakes are high. Some parents could be headed to prison. So
they're willing to let innocent people go to prison. I'm not saying Nick is innocent by any means, because he's not. He is where he needs to be. Maybe not in that exact place. I do think that he needs help. I do think that he needs a lot of therapy, a lot, and a lot of maybe education on his issues he has. That's my opinion. But I do not think he should be walking amongst us in society. But neither should Gypsy. But they're willing to let innocent people go to jail, prison, tear families apart, and not blink an eye. Remember what Gypsy said, y'all. My actions tend to hurt other people. As she laughs and then says, but ultimately I have to think about my own happiness.
Prosecutors are now questioning Dr. Woods' credibility. Last week, Thurston County prosecutors added her to a list of experts whose truthfulness has been challenged. And last year in Pierce County, Dr. Woods' name landed on a similar list. Since June, the Pierce County Prosecutor's Office has been sending letters to defense lawyers in all pending criminal cases involving Dr. Woods, notifying them of potential impeachment evidence against her, along with a copy of our story. And prosecutors in King and Kitsap County said it's possible they might do the same.
And again, this is who Andrea Dunlop, Dr. Woods, has based her entire career off of. The book she started writing, her podcast against her sister. Because they want her home. They don't like her husband. And these are the sociopaths, the narcissists, these are the people who, they don't like her husband. So hopefully, Andrea said, she will come home now after seeing the book she wrote and having went through this experience. How about that? Thinking, causing trauma to your family, you think that, oh, let me turn to my sister and my mom who caused it? Maybe out of fear that you would do it again. And the husband has spoke out about it. And he's right. Even he said, why is it that the instigator, the problem, the person who's lying, comes out as like a victim? Where are you the victim in this, Andrea? You refuse to acknowledge true survivors and their stories in your comments and said you will not speak on the evidence. I understand this isn't just, how, everything doesn't just fit nicely in one little box. And Gypsy's, her little comment of, nobody's the perfect victim, because you're not a victim. You're not a victim. Just imagine, though, he's right. The perpetrator, the instigator, the problem pusher, the person that's starting all the issues, that causes the trauma, gets to play victim now. Where in this, Andrea? I understand it if a doctor suspects this happening. Do you know how rare it is? And it's something that is very hard to prove, too. Again, this makes me never, ever want to trust going to take my grandkids to the doctor. Or if I was a parent, I was scared when I was a parent, because, anything that could happen then, if they fell and got hurt, you were questioned then horribly. Okay, I put SPF 75 on my son when he was a year old. He got sunburned still badly. Like, it was so bad. He was so red, and I felt bad, so I took him to the doctor because I didn't know. We went to the beach for the first time. I put SPF 75 on him, and he still was sunburned. And it was a cloudy, overcast day. And I got shamed sitting in that waiting room. I'm sitting there, he's a little kid. He's a year old. And these two women sat across from me and said, shame on you. Your mommy should get the same kind of sunburn. That poor baby shouldn't have gotten that. That should be mommy. And I looked at them and I started bawling. Look, I know. I wish it was me instead of him. He had red hair. He had freckles. I did put sunblock on him. And you know what? He wears 100 SPF and still burns to this day. He gets sun poisoning. If he doesn't have a hat on with sunblock, he gets sun poisoning. His entire face swells up. But I was shamed. I was made like I did it on purpose. They said I needed a lashing. I did the right thing. I took the right steps to help prevent it. And he even had t-shirt and, little trunks on. But it was the face, arms, and legs. I don't know what more. And we weren't even there, but maybe 2 hours, 3 hours at most. And I kept him under an umbrella. But I was shamed. I would never, ever want to be today thinking like these doctors are, wanting to be this expert, to be the one that gets called to all these trials and gets paid, because it's about money. It's not just about the kid. And write all these books and get paid, and then get paid to go hospital to hospital because they want you there. They want you there. They want you there. It's always about money at the end of the day. You can do everything right and still mistakes happen, or you can do everything right and the outcome still doesn't come out the way it should, because that is life. But it isn't intentional. I don't think I ever felt more hurt. And then when they saw me crying and I said, actually I did, he was not even in the water hardly. I don't think he even got in the water. I said, but he was under an umbrella. He even took a nap under the umbrella. I'm like, and he had SPF 75 on. I couldn't get SPF 100. They didn't have it. I don't know what more I could have done. I said I would trade places with him in a heartbeat. And I was like, my lips quivering when I'm talking, tears are rolling down my eyes. I felt horrible and was shamed. But you know what? I will say the nurse in that situation instantly came to me and made me feel better. They were older. I guess they just thought I didn't do it, that I didn't put sunblock. I don't know. But I'll never forget that. It was just, you know, it's like, it's scary if your child has an accident, especially like Zeke. He was playing and he jumps and he's constantly climbing and jumping. Well, he jumped down, put his hand down, and he fractured his wrist. And we knew he was really hurt because he couldn't hardly move it. He was crying. And then when we said we were going to the ER, he didn't want to go. He was scared. Well, he did fracture it. And it was from exactly what, you know, the doctor explained it, where all the pressure was caught on his hand and it fractured his wrist when he, you know, jumped and he caught himself. And he said it's a very common fracture in children. But, you know, when we took him to the doctor for that, knowing nothing was wrong, I swear I can't help it. Just in my mind, you know, doctors always think the worst. I don't know. But I don't know, that just, even then, because I remember like taking my kids, you're questioned 100 different ways. And it would get so irritating because they would make it seem like she was jumping on the trampoline and she bumped her head. How did you get the bump on your head? How did you get the bump? She was jumping on the trampoline. And it got to the point where, you know, when I took them to the doctor, I didn't say what happened. I just like, my kid's going to tell them first before I do, because, I mean, I don't know. You get questioned the same thing over and over, and they look at you like you're lying. I get it. That's their job, and I appreciate it when they do find that happening, but there's a lot of times that I just feel like sometimes that's not. People instantly judge without knowing the situation, and they instantly go to that straight off the bat, and that's infuriating. And because of Gypsy Rose and Dr. Woods and Andrea Dunlop's, that's the world we live in.
I'm so drunk I can't think straight. I've got liver disease. Gypsy doesn't know I have liver. Gypsy or Gypsy doesn't know. Did I call her Lipsy? It's Gypsy. Gypsy doesn't know I have liver disease, and I'm not supposed to drink.
Now this is Sheena, another bestie, who obviously was drinking but wasn't drunk, but she has stage 4 liver failure. Stage 4 liver failure is like end of life, but she's in it. She trolls the internet with her truth. It isn't lies. She trolls with lies and her truth. I'm going to show you a recent clip at the end, but she's the biggest instigator on Gypsy's side, her and Bree. This is the woman who definitely was involved with a crime that someone lost their life in it. She said that out of her own mouth. She said it wasn't the little old lady and her husband who did go to prison for MURDER. It wasn't about, I guess, her. She said that was just made up, even though I heard her in a live talking about it and was mad that Karma Collector put it out. I can show you that if you want, because she did say that. And then went on to dox Karma Collector. Karma Collector spoke about her husband in prison, and then she doxes Karma Collector and calls him AP3DO. These are the people she hangs with. And then you have Bree. We don't even need to go into Bree. Bree is in so many court cases right now, and the most major and recent is possession of meth. A lot of it. But then they go on and again, you just have these unsavory people that Gypsy surrounds herself with, who pushes out these fake narratives and lies and for a story to get her attention and spotlight put on her, whether it's good or bad, doesn't matter. And then they go pretend to be this big, huge, oh, let me help save the poor victim, Gypsy. And it's a whole wash, rinse, repeat. That's all it is. They go, they dox people and say, oh no, it was all them. No, I have watched this from the beginning, and I've watched her suck up to Bree, and I watched that turn into her and Gypsy being besties too. And then that went to Bree stepping down because of all the legal troubles. So now she's in the big chair and she thinks she's big dog Sheena. And she's in every single live on TikTok. I really don't know how they do it, but they do. She is literally all over the place. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. But these are the people, and I'll show you a clip, just one of them all in a panel, just a few seconds of what it's like to be. These are the people that are around her, that support her scams and keep pushing that fake narrative. And I don't even need to show you. You guys have seen it all. But one thing I have noticed, that every single person Gypsy talks to, they're a scammer in some way, shape, or form. And they all got to push her fake lies, her fake narrative, her, again, Gypsy, why won't you just sit down and speak to content creators that you say are just hating and misinformed? Why won't you just sit down and speak to us? Without Bree there talking for you, without Sheena there talking for you. You, only you. Okay. My ring is going to keep going off because the boys are home from school, but let's get really fast. Let's get into some Nick text. This is why I say Nick is where he belongs, right? I can't say any more than that. Then I'm sorry, he's where he needs to be. But first, let me read this. This is Megan Carter's husband against Andrea Dunlop. I already showed you where he wrote a whole statement, and now he wrote something else. And I didn't have this day before yesterday. Are you an instigator or victim? Let's be clear, your only sister does not have MVP. And you know this because you spoke with the doctor who evaluated her. You have spoken to the police, detectives trying to get my wife in trouble. Now you are doing a podcast spreading false, crazy information. People like you make this a terrible world. And again, she is still using this story of her sisters for her financial gain, even though everybody has proven it to be wrong. She does not have MVP. I couldn't imagine. So let me just, this was the night before Dee Dee was unalived, and I'm going to say, I almost feel like Nick is almost calling out for help, because here we have Allie. Again, they didn't question Allie. They didn't question Kate. Why are they not questioning these girls when they knew about it? I'm just saying, this could have been. Anyways, it says, see, you are still a good. And this was 5/13/2015. No, this was not the night before. This was the night before this is like 3 days after it happened. Right before, if it's 5/13/2015. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. It was. This is like 2.5 weeks before the red rum. See, you are still a good person. Me, I don't care about boundaries. I don't care about standards. Since I gave up on love, that stuff means nothing to me. Sounds like you are taking my warning seriously. Good, because I don't want to be responsible for any of my ex's deaths, even though I know if any of them came to me, I would probably kill them all, except Gypsy. I can't bring myself to try to kill her. My soul is still hers. My body is still hers. She is the only one I couldn't get myself to kill. Damn it. The struggle pees me off. At the same time, I know Gypsy flipped out when she found out he did start talking to one ex, but he's talking to like 4 exes. Multiple girls the whole time he's dating Gypsy. There's tons. We'll go over those this weekend, but I don't have time to do that today. So, yeah. There's a lot of these to Kate, and Kate kind of talks back the same way. They all have this weird, like, I don't think they believe him, honestly. I don't. That's just my opinion. Yeah. Gypsy still today doing the same thing she did back then. Anybody who, supported her, who would lie for her, and she could lie on to get what she needed and wanted, she did. She is worse than Nick. She manipulated him. I do feel like Nick was calling for help at that point. I do feel like Nick believed he had to be with Gypsy. And you want to know why? Because he kept telling Allie and his friends that Gypsy put a spell on him. Remember that whole, my mama put a spell on me that said that I would never find love again, in the book that we've been reading. She passed a mason jar that had menstrual, BLOOD, and a picture of her and Nick, and put that in the jar, in the mason jar, and something else. I don't even know. Stupid, but I don't know anything about, we all know she was Wiccan. We all know she said she was witch. She practiced it. We showed that in videos. But I did not know this. Look at this. Very interesting. Oh, yes, the cow tongue. Sorry. So here we have, this is 2 days ago. While watching, they talked about Nick saying he couldn't break up with Gypsy because she put some kind of bonding spell on him. And, we're going to go over these texts. Audrey has a 2-hour live. Go watch hers. I'm going to try to dig into, guys, I really haven't had time to do any of that. Plus, my internet was out all day yesterday and the phone. Like I'm telling y'all, I just need time. I just haven't had it, but I've not had time to go dive into I've looked at them a few times and had to go back and look for things, but I've not had time to get into the files and try to find new stuff either. I have not. And I've been really into Nancy Guthrie, and they finally did an arrest for the girl from the cruise. The stepbrother was finally arrested. I've been waiting for that, but anyway, they talk about Nick saying he couldn't break up with Gypsy because she put some kind of bonding spell on him. Does anyone else think this could most likely mean that she, if any version was true at all, exactly, was the one who buried the cow tongue and whatever else it was in the backyard so her mom would never find love? No. This is what I think. And I agree, but people are saying it sounds more like it's a binding spell. Hold on. Let me find it. And yes, you can get cow tongues in the grocery store. My mom did. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, here it is. Yes, the spell with cow tongue is a binding spell to keep someone quiet and bonded to you. Nothing to do with not ever finding love, like she claimed. And she said, I had no idea. Either way, it was probably her then. And I do believe that. I have always thought that. And here's another. So these spells, they know of them. I have nothing, but allegedly, Dee Dee put that voodoo hex, right, they're saying, to prevent him from finding love or happiness. To prevent her, sorry. I thought it was Nick and it could be Dan and Gypsy, I don't know. Yeah, it was Dan and Gypsy, I'm sorry. And a bit of Gypsy's menstrual in a mason jar and then buried it in the backyard. And this person says, this appears to be more of a love spell attempting to attract, bind, or strengthen a connection with a desired person. The cow tongue is used to silence or stop an enemy from speaking lies, gossip, or slander. It sounds more like something Gypsy would do, not her mother, because Gypsy was very loud about being a witch, a Wiccan. Even in her prison religion, it says Wicca. So, yes. And it says spells are meant to work, not be bragged about. The spirit and energy world is nothing to play with, and I agree. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I mean, if I could see her wanting to silence Nick and him not say a word, and love, I could see it him for Dan. I do agree that that's why she wanted to dig up that mason jar, because people who actually do, and I remember seeing a mason jar in the evidence photos. I went back, there's so many photos though, and it has like cotton in it and something else. I do believe she did like practice spells, and there was a photo in that jar. There was paper, I know that. And I do believe, and that was right by Gypsy, I think, in the Flora and Dee's room where I saw it was. So I think Gypsy practiced that stuff. I don't think Dee Dee watched her and was all over her. No, I don't. No, not at all. Now let's get into the same scammers that, you know, surround themselves with Gypsy, how they speak about creators. And this is always after. Here's my thing. You have a girl who took her mother's life, right? And these people defend her down to the last breath. You will not invalidate her trauma. What trauma? Let's talk trauma, Gypsy. Sit down and speak to me. Just me and you. Not Sheena, not nobody, not Ken sitting beside you. Nobody else. Wouldn't even have a chat on. Sit down and speak to me. I'm asking you, will you have a conversation with me about your trauma, about inconsistencies? Change my mind, Gypsy. This is a genuine, because right now, the way I see you, you don't deserve to be a mother. You took a life because you were spoiled and didn't ever want to do anything for yourself, but you wanted the house, the car, and the money. Just not Dee Dee, because Dee Dee wasn't going to allow you to stay there, and I don't blame her. Change my mind, Gypsy. Show me how I put all these facts and this evidence out there that it is all 1000% completely wrong. Respectfully. No disrespect. No. There will be no yelling, no arguing, no cussing. And there will absolutely be no outside voices. No Bree, no Sheena, no Dreamer, no, what is her name? The raspy? Libby. I think it's Libby. Definitely no Libby and Jeanette. No. I can't believe I remembered them. I'm getting better at this show. And here, nobody. There will be nobody beside me. There will be nobody else on the screen. Me and you. I'm asking you because you know what, Gypsy? I'm offended and I'm angered. And I know you don't feel empathy. I get it. You don't have the capability to do it. You never did. You never have, and you never will. I understand that. And you don't feel remorse. You don't feel guilt or regret. I get that. That's your brain. But can you sit down for the sake of real victims who went through some truly traumatic situations and explain it? I'm just asking. Make me understand where I'm misinformed. Let me ask the questions and you answer and tell me how I'm misinformed. Nobody answering for you. Stop hiding behind everybody else and just speak to me. Because right now you have invalidated my trauma and everybody else's. And I'm going to end it with this right here. And we're done.
And I just wanted to see if we could get a little bit of that outrage for some of us. All right. That couldn't really happen. I read comments because I was sent screenshots. Nobody would have known that was your grandbaby if you hadn't have said it. I don't care if you post my grandbaby because I would do it myself. The principle is you're doxing a baby. And I thought we stood against that, right?
This started way before, like way before this. Last year, all the doxing, my gosh. You guys dox Becca Scoop's kids. They're adults. You said adult or young. You did that straight out the gate. You also doxed Nina's kids. You keep saying y'all didn't do it, and you did. You did. And you are. But hey, this is who... You know, but listen to this now.
I thought we did. And it's okay if we don't. Like, if we want to fuck with kids, just tell me, because I didn't realize that was okay. Just tell me, hey, shit's changed. We're going to fuck with kids. We're going to fuck with families. And that's fine by me. That's all I'm saying. You know? So, yeah, I did that on purpose just to see, you know, what would be said. And of course, it's always, well, you guys doxed Becca. Oh, and another thing, Nicole.
I'm not going to do the entire, because it is a lot of back and forth with her and Nicole. And I'm not going to have, and a couple other creators that I like to, I'm not pulling them into any more, no more. Because that's what she does. So I'm going to get to the point that I really want to show you. First, I want to say she's talking about, I guess, Hello Starlight, Nicole, Dank, and all them looking her up first. But yet, every panel I see her on, I see her saying she has everybody's information. She has their address, their phone number, but she's not done nothing with it. But she, just because she's not put it on the internet, where does it make you better, Sheena? That's all I want to say. Oh, sorry.
You did that. But no outrage there either. I'm just saying, look, and I don't give a shit that she looked me up. I really don't. But it's the hypocrisy that we have always had to taste over here. And I just wanted to bring it to the light.
No, you didn't. You're trying to deflect, and you're trying to do exactly what Gypsy does. Look away. That's not what's going on here. And you're trying to blame somebody else. It's always somebody else with you guys. You're all the same. Every one of you. You, Andrea, Celine, Beth. I'm not shutting up about Celine and Andrea. Nancy Grace, too. Nancy Grace, shame on you, too.
Come at me and say I've doxed somebody? Do it. What's all this y'all have done? Name names. Name instances. Nobody doxed Becca Scoops. Nobody did. Nobody. Who did it? Oh, y'all doxed Starlight. Excuse me? Starlight doxed Crystal for no fuck, just for fuck shit. Because she didn't have Bunny's info, apparently. So, because of Crystal by association, she doxed Crystal. We all know that happened. They know that happened. But let's just kind of scooch that under the rug, too. I'm just saying, fucking own your shit and stop living in the hypocrisy. That's all I'm saying.
Everybody owns their crap with Sheena, and she's always, just own your crap. Say it with your chest. Sheena, everybody does. What are you talking about? Nobody bows down to you and lies. That burn, she acts like she is the big shit. She's sitting on that high throne chair of Brie right now. She's riding that icy wave.
I don't want to hear anything about it. That's all I'm saying. Now, Bev says that I told Allison to lick my crotch. That never happened.
Hey, I can tell you this much. I alone have heard her say that at least a dozen times to people, and always turned into like, they're obsessed with me. They love me. What are you talking about, Sheena? If someone questions you or says anything or asks about something, that's instantly what they're obsessed with me. Just go ahead and, I don't know if you want to try to sleep with me. I've heard her say this a dozen times on my own, and I don't listen to her. I do not. This is very concerning, and if anything, anybody should be concerned hearing this. I'm not joking either.
Something I said, and I said, too fucking bad, Allison, lick it up. That's what I said. Yes, I have told people that they're dry riding my crotch. But Bev, it seems to me like you're sending me a subliminal message that you want to have some kind of relationship with me that I'm not prepared for, okay?
See, I told you. Bev just said that to her, that she heard her say that, and she said, I didn't say that. It seems to me like you're sending me some subliminal message for a relationship. I'm not quite. She does this with everybody. Sheena, honey, sit down. Ain't nobody sending you any message subliminally. Smoke signals, nothing. Nothing. I promise you. Sit down. Jesus. She thinks that makes her look cool, and you know that she's like getting over. No, you look you know, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Oh, well, excuse me, one side note. Becca Scoops doxed herself when she shared her fucking YouTube and other information. Let's get that straight, too. All right. Side note there, sorry. So, Starlight is really blowing my fucking mind here because Starlight normally doesn't pay me any attention. And like I said, I made that post one time, and she gave me no reaction.
I don't know what that means, Sheena, because you and Starlight talk a lot. She does so. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. You are a topic of conversation but it's never bad. It's more lighthearted, so I'm skipping over all this too. Trying to start.
I was bored, you know, but here lately, she seems to have something for me. It's confusing me. Not sure where we're headed here. Like, do you want to date me? Do you want to be friends with me? Do you hate me? I'm confused because she normally doesn't address me. But one thing she said right. She said, you may think Sheena's trolling, but some shit she says is 100. You're damn straight it's 100.
So now it's Starlight too. Now it's Starlight because she questioned Sheena. Now it's, are you wanting to date me? Are you obsessed with me? Are you confused? Do you see where we're going with this? Do you see the pattern she has? She thinks she's so cool. She thinks she's so... Somebody said, you know, she was on her live and she was sweating a bunch and she had been to the gym. She said it, that she was at the gym that morning. Okay. But they were like, well, you didn't shower after? And she's like, why does it matter if I don't shower? Because that's disgusting, maybe? Saying. But yeah, why wouldn't you shower after? Why would you? Anywho, she said she was at the gym. Take that for what you will too. Just the teeniest things don't add up. But I mean, good for her because she needs to go, you know. Her health is very poor. I got you, Dank. Starlight. I know you ain't saying, oh my God, could you imagine? Could you just imagine? Oh, I have a crush on Sheena. Let me do it like that. Is it Livy? I think her name's Livy, or wait, what, Linda? No, wait, that's Dreamer. I don't know, it's a real scratchy voice. Sheena, I would break a piece before I'd ever even, oh God. Look, we've seen you. We've seen you on your scooter. We've seen your feet. We've seen, no, oh, Jesus.
People in the comments saying that I support Epstein and I support ICE. Okay, first of all, I have never spoken about ICE.
And this isn't even going to go on my channel because it's not. I'm not even going to get in it. We're skipping this part. Nope. Although, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. They'd fit right in with Epstein.
Point out, Nicole says, you can't get away from her. Bitch, yes you can. I've been begging you to get away from me. I've been begging you. And did y'all hear that girl sit there and say, Sheena said that she went to the gym, and I'm like, did she even take a shower? Bitch, why are you worried about what if I wash my ass or not? Like, why are you concerned? And here's the bottom line. I fucking run her shit. I run her shit. I will always run her shit. It is the way it is, all right?
Girl, you ain't running nothing. Nothing. The only thing you running is to the store and back, getting you your little, I don't know, desserts, candies, and that's probably on your little scooter too. You're running that scooter everywhere. You're running that bail money debris, but you sure ain't running shit.
Kept crying about, so she can't be a victim on that anymore. And I did it for my own reasons. It wasn't for her. I have nothing for her. And, you know, sometimes it's like with Beth. I kept telling people, Beth is, I'm telling you, Beth ain't right, Beth ain't different. And it started to look like I'm the big bad wolf picking on this poor little girl. So I said to Jeanette, actually, you know what? I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm not going to say anything else. And she will show who she truly is. And I won't have to say a word. And that's what happened. So, I don't have to say a word about Nicole, but she seems to talk about me every chance she gets. And I've gotten to the point where I accept that she can't help herself, because obsession runs really deep in people. And when you run their shit, that's what happens. I run her every thought. Every waking thought, I'm on her mind, and I accept that. And I'm okay with it. I'm all right with that. So that's about all I had to say.
Yeah, you know, she just runs everybody's sheet. The delusional. Dude, I know she's trolling right here, but again, Sheena puts a little truth in every bit of her stories. I don't know. Yes, men. Yes, men. Gypsy's got to have her yes, men. This is her yes, men. Why they are even a topic of this is mind-blowing. This is why they are. They pushed and pushed and pushed, and the obsession's real. It's just with Gypsy. Because they all want the same thing. They all want that attention. And yes, Sheena said, oh, Manson, Trump Manson's cool AF. No, I was just joking. Okay. Who would say it jokingly? But let's not forget that Gypsy in her message to Nick on Facebook found Charlie Manson's Facebook page and was so excited. Yeah, she's a cold-blooded murderer, period, who got away with a first-degree murder, and the case wasn't looked into. Waukesha, Missouri even, deleting files, destroying files, not giving content creators what they're paying for, or anybody who's asking for them. Tell me again it ain't the good old boy system down there. Mike, again, it's Springfield, Missouri. Everybody that went to VisionCon lived in the neighborhood and was a part of, like, the mayor, you know, a lot of the even police, I'm just saying, I'm leaving it at that. corruption is real. I'm not saying that it's in every department, because it isn't. But there is those few corrupt cops in every single department. I'm not saying the whole department's corrupt. This department, I think, might be right up there. I think they all got a good incentive. But I do want to share this one little thing with you guys. And I don't know if it's real. I don't care. But it does make you want to think, was this true? I'll just tell you. Basically, it's on Reddit. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm putting it out there. There was somebody who worked for the police department during this time, and they were angry that Gypsy got off. And that DNA did match Dee Dee's on her shirt. Dan's DNA was found, and that they felt like he basically stabbed a corpse. And I do feel that way. No, I don't think she was gone when he got there. Absolutely not. But I do think Gypsy, even if it wasn't Dan there and it was Gypsy alone, because I know she has the ability to do it. She already shot her and took a knife to her before. So it's not... I think that Dee Dee was struggling to survive by the time Nick got there. And I will continue to believe that. I don't believe that... Do I think Nick took his 4 good stabs? Maybe. Yeah, I do. Yeah. But it doesn't answer all the other splatter throughout the house, but not in the bedroom. That's all I'm saying. Either their story is all a lie and it started somewhere else. It happened. Like, I don't know. All I know is that no. Gypsy started on Dee Dee in the kitchen when Dee Dee went to go start her dinner. That's what I think. That's what I think. That's just my opinion. But anyways, that cop said what he said. There is a screenshot of it, but I'm not going to show it because I don't know if it's real. I'm just putting it out there, you know. I can't tell you. I'm giving you an opinion. It's not facts. This is just opinions. But again, I think it's a shame, and I think that the entire case, everyone involved with it is corrupt and scammers. Every single one, down to Rod Christie, Gypsy, Mike Stanfield, and every expert, because none of them even looked at her medical records. They went off Mommy Dead and Dearest and did further documentaries from that. And if they were going to testify, like, it wasn't, I can't remember his name. Anyways, he was an expert also for MVP. They're being paid. They're being paid to do so. Of course they're going to push it. Mike had this story 2 days after she was arrested. He needed that little Cinderella sweetheart story. The little sick girl couldn't do it, you guys. It had to be the big bad wolf from Wisconsin. The vampire, Nick Godejohn. It's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. And this weekend, I'm going to try to go live. The internet's been really bad, though, you guys. I don't know if I can. That's why I don't go live, and I would love to. But I am going to try to go live this weekend. Promise you I am. All right. This is kind of just a little bit of weekly thoughts all put together. And I am working on a Nancy Guthrie video. Not nothing crazy, just going from the timeline and up and what your thoughts are. Because I don't know. I'm worried. And I hate this. But yeah. All right, you guys. I'll see you in my next video. And don't be a Sheena. Don't be a Bree. Y'all be good to people out there. And definitely don't be a Gypsy and Nick. Jesus. Or a Ken. Or a Rod and Christy. Jesus, none of them. All right, y'all have a good night. See ya in the next video. Good night.